Well, one of the coolest places to visit in LeClaire just opened. It's Smokin' D's. This is a mouthful. Let me see if I can get this straight, because it's a lot. It's D's, Smokin', BBQ, and Tap House. Did I get that right?
Yes.
It's not Smokin' D's.
Nope.
Or D's Smokin' BBQ.
Nope.
It's not the Smokin' Tap House. Although, as long as you know that you're going to LeClaire and you want barbecue, I guarantee you're going to be able to find the place. This is Dan. You run the place?
Yep.
This has been your dream for how long?
Years. We've been doing it in the food trailer for 5 years, and every year we've been looking at trying to get something started.
So this was originally a trailer. Now it's a dedicated restaurant, and it's not the biggest restaurant in the Quad Cities, although they're expanding. You're moving onward and upward.
Yes.
This place is unique, and the reason we're talking about it on Brewed is it is the first in the Quad Cities to feature the sample beers, the craft beer. Well, gosh, what do you call it?
Self-pour.
A self-pour. I love that. So self-pour, the technology. I want to get into that, but first I want to ask you about barbecue and craft beer. Mm-hmm. That's important to you to have those things partner up?
Yes.
What is it about craft beer that you think lends itself so well to, say, ribs or?
The different flavors. Any flavor you want to have with your barbecue, you can, instead of just a regular domestic beer. It just, to me, it pairs up really well.
Now you can get domestic beer here if that's what you want, but the self-pour wall, is just all craft beer. And I think this is worth pointing out too. Everything you've got on there is local.
Yeah.
So that's important to you.
Yes.
The self-pour model, it's like, I know I've said this before, it's like a frozen yogurt place, but with beer. And you can have as little or as much as you want, and they pay by the ounce.
Yes. Pay by the ounce, pour as much or little as you want.
So you can have like a 4
mix
ounce,
and match.
you can have a 4 ounce taster, and it's not gonna break the bank. And you can either fall in love with it, or if it doesn't work for you, you just move on. How many taps do you have all told?
20.
So if you can't fall in love in 20 taps, I don't know what to tell you. 20 taps is a lot of selection, and it's all local Iowa and Illinois beer. But really, if you think about it, and this is the main reason we're here, you've got more than 20 beers there. Because what people do here at D's, Smokin', BBQ, and Tap House, you encourage them to mix different styles and come up with their own kind of creations.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you about that. Is that just a matter of necessity? Did somebody make a mistake? Was it like the commercial where the kid's walking with the chocolate bar and he bumps into the kid who's eating peanut butter and they make Reese's peanut butter cups? How does this happen?
Well, just look at the different flavors on there. It's like, well, I wonder what it would be like if we would just take these two and mix them. And I thought of it, it's like, oh, that's pretty good. So we just kept on testing every single one.
You encourage them to have fun back there by mixing different styles. Can you give us some examples of some of the creations that have been coming out of the lab here?
Quite a few of them has been like the vanilla porter and the cherry.
Okay, so those are two Front Street beers.
Yes.
So
Yep.
cherry and vanilla.
Yep. We'll
Was
do
that-
like a chocolate cherry.
Okay, I could see that working. Do you recommend it? Does it make more sense to keep the beers brand compliant? So like only Front Street beers, only Bent River beers?
No, we mix different companies.
Okay.
Yeah. Those two just pair up really good.
Cherry vanilla, cherry chocolate. What are some other flavors?
Take the jalapeno beer, and if you don't want the jalapeno being so strong, we mix it with the Doc's Blonde, mellows it down, or you can mix it with the raspberry and have the raspberry jalapeno beer.
Raspberry jalapeno beer. I've heard that called other places a holly berry.
Yes. Yep.
See what we did there? See what we did? Let me ask you this. When I was a kid, after a particularly rough day in the Little League fields, we would go to the 7-Eleven, and if we won, you would get the 39-cent cup, and you would just mix all of them. We would call that a suicide. I don't know if that's cool to use that term. Are there other terms? But when we were kids, we used to call it a suicide.
Yep.
Does anybody ever do a suicide on this machine?
Yep. We've had a few that's tried them.
Like mixing all 20 beers at once, or?
Yeah.
Okay, now see, that should cause an explosion. If not externally, internally for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some beers, I'm not going to promise you that going back there and mixing beers is always going to be delicious. I think you're going to find sometimes it's a disaster, but it's like a 3-ounce disaster.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like you're putting 2 pints together. That would be, don't do that. People work too hard on the beer for you to be putting 2 pints together, unless you really, really know what you're doing or really like the idea. But if you test it out here, maybe you can make it a larger scale thing.
Yes.
If I wanted to mix and match, and by the way, I think you all know I do, how does that work? Do you give them a card? Do you give them a bracelet? How does this machine work?
Yep. They come in, they go to the bartender, get a card.
Okay.
And that's the only card that will work on the machine.
Look at that. D, Smokin' BBQ, and Tap House. 1, place your card under the screen. 2, angle glass 45 degrees. Open tap the entire way. Pour what you want and enjoy. Let me ask you this. With this technology, am I paying for air? Am I paying for foam?
Nope. Paying all for all beer.
And how are you able to guarantee that?
The way it's set up in the cooler, it's the beer fobs fill up.
A beer fob,
Yep.
that's FOB, and that stands for foam on beer. So the machines know when it's foam, and you're not paying for that.
Exactly.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Nope.
I just
You
wanted to
knew
show
exactly
off
what
that
it
I
was.
knew what
Yes.
fob meant. So you're not paying for foam, you're not paying for air.
Nope.
Once you pull the handle, you're not paying for anything until that deliciousness hits the bottom of the glass.
Yes.
Awesome.
And if you don't have the card on there, it will not pour at all. And if the keg does run out, since that has to fill up, once that starts going down, the plunger goes down and it shuts the beer off. So you'll never have a keg blow beer all over the person.
You're always going to get a great pour and great beer, and you can just have whatever you want in different sample glasses. They can get full pints, they can get sample glasses, or they can, again, feel free to come and play in Dan's laboratory back here. Dan, it's a beautiful place.
Thank you.
Slate.
Woo!
Quiet on the set.
Right on.
REB, Brewed, take 14.
Here we go. What's the weirdest creation that someone's come up with? Something that you said, oh no, don't do that, and then found out it was actually a good combination.
We had someone do, I think it was a sour peach
Sour peach.
and a vanilla porter.
That's no.
It was-
No.
I'm not sure what's going on here. Is this some sort of honoring Prefontaine? What's going on with this?
So, nobody can really honor He's an epic individual himself.
This is where we agree to agree.